Alright, howdy folks. Still morning. Good morning. It's about 10 of 11. Not that it matters, but I just got back from a BJ's run, and I had taken an inventory of my food stash and realized that I need to top off a few things, especially, you know, since we're on the brink of collapse over here. Yeah, I know Wall Street looks good and all this other stuff, but everything else, all the signs are there. Make sure that you're, well, let me just say, it's telling me to make sure everything is topped off. So what we're doing today is we're going to can some boneless chicken thighs. I want to make sure I got enough protein on the shelves. So I got 7 quart jars, wide mouth jars, heating up, getting ready to boil. I'm going to sterilize them, and then we'll go on to the next step. Alright, so we're hanging out by the fire. You know, we gotta, well, I'm not drinking coffee today, I'm actually drinking tea. But I just figure we have a little ambience in the kitchen. That's what I'm talking about. I rinsed off all my chicken breasts. These are boneless chicken thighs. I'm sorry, I said breasts. These are boneless chicken thighs. I'm hoping I got enough for 7 quarts. I think I do. Worst case, I do 6 quarts. Alright. And I washed them all, rinsed them off. I know there's some people saying, you don't need to wash your meat, but I don't know. I think it's important to wash your meat. So that's about as much as you need to put in there. Keep it about 1 inch from the top or whatever. So the jars are wide mouth jars. These little chicken wings, chicken thighs are small, as you can see. And I'm just going to drop them in here. Kind of push them to the side a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy. And I'm not going to like stuff them. Alright, so I got all 7 jars filled. Now I'm going to grab my salt. Now this isn't an old fine salt container, but it's actually, this is actually kosher salt. And I'm going to just do the smallest 1/4 teaspoon of salt in each one. This is optional, you don't have to do this, but I do. It gives it just a little bit of flavor. I do it, it gives the broth a little bit of flavor too. Oh, that was just my phone falling over. Don't worry about that. So now we're going to take a clean cloth or paper towel, wet it, and we're just going to wipe the rims. Alright, so now we are going to take one ring and lid at a time, and we're just going to put it on there. And just like anything else, you don't over tighten them. 3 fingers. If you've never had canned chicken, oh man, it's so good. It is so good. Alright, so now we got to get the pressure canner over here. So now we're going to go ahead, put our jars in here. And you try and place them in there so they're not touching each other. Space these a little bit better. But we're going to start with cold water because the jars now are cold, the contents are cold. There's no sense us, you know, trying to keep everything hot. This is a cold pack method, and it's going to take a little bit to get the temperature up. Alright, that's more than enough. So at this point, at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and start my temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on high, but I need to get a little bit of olive oil. Then I'm going to take this with my finger and I'm going to go around the angle part of the canner. This is where the two aluminums, they meet. And if you don't do this, it can get to a point where it's hard. You almost got to pry the lid off. But by putting this this little amount of olive oil on there, it makes it easy to take right off, no problem. So now, we got an important ingredient here. Oh, I love the smell of vinegar. Got to put a little vinegar in there. And let's see, I try and pour it so it doesn't get on the top of the jars. And you only need a little bit like that. What that does is it keeps your glass on the jars from clouding up. And they will cloud up. Okay, so now you want to put this on as even as possible. And I'll explain that in a second. And one good thing about glass top stoves, I know they say you got to be careful with the weight and all that, but one good thing about the glass top stoves is you're bringing the temperature up slower than a gas stove. Alright, so what I'm looking at is this gap going around the canner. So I can see that this side is a little lower, so I need to and this does make a difference. If you don't have this equal or as equal as possible, you might see a little bit of leakage. Alright, I'm sure you've seen my other canning videos, but for all you newcomers, first off I want to say thank you for watching and stopping by. What's going to happen here is now that the temperature's on, and I could already feel this starting to get warm, this is going to start building up pressure inside there. So the steam that's going to build up is going to start exhausting from this port right here. Alright, so this is the weight. We are going to set, you can see the 3 increments, 5, 10, and 15, and that's due to your elevation. So at my elevation, we're going to be doing 10 psi, but that does not go on until after the 10 minutes steam. Alright, so now you can hear that this is coming out steady. So we're going to set our timer for 10 minutes, which is set, and we're going to hit it now. And we're going to be ready with our weight, but it's going to take 10 minutes first before we can put our weight on. And be careful, I mean this could get really hot. At the moment it's okay, but if I held my hand there it would burn my hand. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and remember we're putting it so the 10 is showing, not the 5 or the 15, the 10. So now we're already almost at 5 psi. So all I need to do is, watch that gauge, as it gets closer, this is going to start to exhaust. You're going to hear it chatter like that, and then we know we're at that 10 psi, 10 pounds of pressure inside, which means our temperature would be around 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this is only the second or third time that I'm pressure canning on this new stove, so I'm still getting used to it, so bear with me. And this is why you do not want to walk away from these. I can see the weight floating. It's like waiting for Old Faithful. I find it hard to believe that I have it on a very high setting. I mean, it's technically at temperature. I'm going to start the timer. So I'm expecting this. I was kind of expecting it to go a little bit longer at that point, but we're gonna watch it for a second. And another thing I want to show you, make sure when you put your lid on, your arrows line up here. So you can actually, well no, that's
2,000 years later.
All right, so this is several days later. I ended up, now let me just say, I've been using this canner for about 15 years. Never had a single issue with it. It was perfect. So what happened was, while I was trying to film that video, or this video, I noticed there was a little steam coming up from around the sides. Now, as you saw in the video, I was very careful and made sure that this lid was on straight, and it was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. At the time, in the beginning, I had close to 4 inches of water in here, but during the process, I noticed, the first thing I noticed was I had to keep the temperature on the stove too high once I got the temperature. Normally, I'd be at like lower than like a medium-low setting at that point, at least on the old stove. But this stove, I had to keep it up high, like more of a medium-high at that point. So I kind of noticed, and I was trying to focus on the video, but I kind of noticed that it was struggling to get to temperature to where the weighted gauge would, what's the word I'm looking for? Where it would chatter, let's say. So I did notice that, and as the canning process was going on, I saw a little bit more and more steam come out, till eventually I saw there was about a 4-inch leak over here, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what the heck? So I shut it down immediately. As you could see in the video, there was a lot of like bubbles coming up. So I let it cool. I opened it up. There was very little water in there at the time. So during that short period, that extra steam, the water pretty much started to boil out. But what was the cause? I can't tell you at this time. I took it apart. I checked the seam. Everything was clean. There was nothing on there, because I do wash it. I checked. I mean, everything is smooth. And I called All American 1930, and they were kind of shocked. I was shocked. I talked to my buddy Marcus. He has 3 of these different size canners, and he was shocked. And I can't figure it out, but something happened somewhere at that point where either this lid warped a little bit, or the bottom, something happened in where the two faces meet. So I'm not exactly sure, even at this stage, but I did contact All American, and because this canner is like 15 years old, something like that, they couldn't find my information, in the system, because in the last several years they had gone from paper to digital, and of course my stuff gets lost. But I did purchase this from All American. So needless to say, they would not back it. This one did not have the lifetime warranty, which they have now. The only thing different that happened in this process compared to previous years is the new stove. It shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be an issue. So I don't know. This is a heavy material, thick aluminum. I don't know how this sucker could have warped on me. Now, so what I did was, even though I had that issue, I went ahead and I washed it again. I cleaned everything, scrubbed it like crazy. You can see I even scrubbed off my notes and everything. And I ran it with just water. And it went fine for 90 minutes without any leaks. But then, I let it cool and everything, and I just tried to do, I figured I'd try it again. I just did some pot of sauce that I had, so I jarred up 7 quarts, and it failed in that process too. For whatever reason, it was leaking again. So you get an excessive steam out of here. So by having the lid leaking, it won't hold the pressure inside. It won't be stable. So in other words, you need higher heat to try and get this thing to work. So I ended up freezing, letting it cool, but freezing the sauce for now. And after scratching my head on this one, I actually ended up purchasing a new one because I like this canner so much and I use it a ton. I don't know if it was something, you could watch in the video how I set it up. I put more than enough water in there. It was at least 4 inches. They recommend 3 to 4 inches. So I don't know what happened. I really don't. So I ended up getting a good coupon code, and I ended up replacing this canner. My original goal was to keep using this canner and then get the 910, the smallest one that only holds 4 quarts, because there's a lot of times where I don't want to heat up this big thing and I'm only, processing 2 or 3 quarts from a leftover meal or something like that. But anyway, I just want to say thanks for watching, and at the moment this is a little mind-boggling. I'm still not exactly sure what happened. All I can say is, from the evidence, that I ran it no different than I normally would, and the process failed. The canner failed at that point. I'm not going to say don't purchase one, because this canner, I canned a lot with this in 15 years. Trust me. This thing is going all the time. So, to me, it's a tool. Is it going to last forever? Probably not. But I'm going to replace it with the newer one, because now with the newer one, I get the lifetime warranty, and I saved like $50 on it, so I went with it. Hopefully in the near future I can still purchase the smaller one like I wanted, but for now I'm chalking this up to a failure and a broken tool. So I may try and, like a friend mentioned, try a lapping compound or something like that on the seal. I could try it. I'm not sure if it'll work or not, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll experiment with it in the near future. But anyway, I purchased a new one. Wait for that to, and matter of fact, it came in. It's right there. I didn't open it yet. We're gonna unbox it on video. We'll do all that, go from scratch, and we'll see what happens. But I don't fake videos or anything like that. So this is a real life problem. It happened. It just so happened to happen to me while I was filming a video. But that goes to show you how, you don't have to be nervous about pressure canning, but it pays to pay attention. Don't walk away, when you're in crucial or critical times of the canning process, and always follow safe practices. I always followed the recommended procedures, cleaning procedures, everything. But anyway, I don't think it could be repaired at this moment in time, so we're going to get on to the next phase of this issue. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.